It is 5 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order. Jamie, you do roll call?
Scholl.
Here.
Bruning.
Here.
Launig.
Here.
Mailer.
Here.
Murley.
Yep.
Well, if there's any conflict of interest?
No.
None, we'll move on to consent agenda. We'll need a motion to approve A through F. Claims totals $109,792.54. Before we approve the agenda, we need to add resolutions on your desk in front of you. We'll need to add resolution number 2024-34 on the line H under miscellaneous to the agenda. There'll be one more added on. If you got all that.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda A through F with the addition of H. Sorry.
I'll second it.
Your motion is second, move on to discussion. Any discussion? None, Jamie, you call for a vote?
Launig.
Yes.
Mailer.
Yes.
Murley.
Yes.
Scholl. Bruning.
Yes.
Line 4, now is the time, if there's any citizens, they have the opportunity to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. If anything or anyone. Nothing, we'll move on to miscellaneous. Line A is consideration of Hometown Pride's request to block off the intersection of Park Avenue and Main to Park and Chautauqua Drive on September 7th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the First Responders Appreciation Event. I think there was a picture sent out in your email of where it was.
Make a motion to approve Hometown Pride's request to block off the west entrance on September 7th from 11 to 1.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any discussion? None, Jamie, call for a vote?
Mailer.
Yes.
Murley.
Yes.
Scholl. Bruning.
Yes.
Launig.
Yes.
Line B is the consideration of Hometown Pride's request to block off the west entrance to Chautauqua Park for the trunk or treat on October 26th, 2024, from 3 to 6:30 p.m.
I'll make a motion to approve Hometown Pride's request to block off the west entrance to Chautauqua Park for trunk or treat on October 26th from 3 to 6:30.
I'll second that.
Get a motion is second, move on to discussion.
I think on Facebook it says 4 though, doesn't it?
It's,
What
the
time?
event is from 4 to 6.
Gotcha. Okay, you wanna block it off from 3 to 6. Okay, just making sure.
And you don't have any kind of like rain date or backup day, it's just that day no matter what?
Yes.
Nothing else, Jamie, can call for a vote?
Launig.
Yes.
Mailer.
Yes.
Murley.
Yes.
Scholl. Bruning.
Yes.
Line C, a discussion regarding the pool updates.
So I got this guy's number to call for any questions. I think the discussion at the last meeting was about the tile length that was included in each of those options, and he said yes, it is. But I'll go ahead and get him on the line just in case there's any other questions about that.
Make it do it this fall, you think?
I think they want to start on it this fall. Hey Joe, it's Jamie up at Sac City. How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, I got you on the speakerphone. Just in case the council's got any questions on these quotes.
Fair warning myself, I'm in my car picking up my daughter from her sports, so
Okay, that's fine.
for minutes in my photo direction. But yeah, any questions come up, I'm here, I'm ready, whatever you guys need.
So at this point right now, at the last council meeting, I was kind of recommending the, just simply for financial reasons, because we only have a certain amount of funds that we can use towards the pool improvements that we're looking at using the white plaster, which is what we currently have in the pool. It's quoted at $261,930. Their main question at that point was, did that include all the tiling work as well as the plaster? And your indication was yes.
Yes, it includes all the racing lanes and all the expansion joints that you got, in the pool, all have to be rebuilt. And we border the expansion joints with tile. We don't plaster up to them and then caulk. We actually put tile there so that down the line that caulking can be easily replaced between the tiles. So, included.
Okay.
And one more thing too, I believe you guys actually have a product probably called Diamond Bright in your pool. It's kind of a step above plaster. You have quartz in it, so it's not just a white finish. It's it's a cementatious product, but it's got quartz in there, or colored, speckles within it. So I think you have more of a quartz finish, which is probably more of the exposed aggregate, which would kind of the mid-range of what I quoted, but could be something called Diamond Bright or Sunstone, something like that.
Okay.
So like the durability and the, how much difference is between the two, say the white plaster and exposed aggregate?
So, on paper, the Diamond Bright should last longer because it is harder material inside there. It's a quartz versus a marble. But a plaster finish and a Diamond Bright finish are really going to last about the same amount of time. You're probably looking at anywhere from, 10 to 15 years. I don't know, what's your current lifespan on your surface now? How long have you guys had that finish in there?
The 20? 23?
23 years.
Okay, well, you've definitely got the life out of it. I don't know if you've been, experiencing a lot of erosion or rough patches through there where it's hard to clean, or kids coming out with sore feet or anything like that. But yeah, you definitely got your lifespan out of it.
We're starting to get that, yeah.
Yeah, they're coming out with sort of, I've had people complain about scratches and stuff this summer.
So you'd be happy with the white plaster as far as quality and dependability on it?
Myself?
Yeah,
I see the white plaster and Diamond Bright or exposed aggregate really as the same product. I'm offering the same amount of warranty, 5 years with both finishes. Diamond Bright specifically, the brand, or Sunstone, any of those, they do have like a commercial line where they'll offer like a 10-year warranty on material, but I don't even know how that would, what that process would be like if there was a problem. I haven't had to encounter that. So I think white plaster is a great finish. I do like the look of the Diamond Bright, especially just kind of on like the shallower surfaces. And that may be something to consider also. What if we look at doing the zero entry of the pool up to a certain depth in Diamond Bright, and maybe the rest of the pool is white plaster? That may be something to consider.
Is that something we consider, like, we could do a change order in the future if we went ahead and agreed to this original white plaster? And,
Sure.
'cause I think I don't know for sure I wanna put words in your mouth, but did you not wanna start a little bit or do some of the prep work this fall still?
We can definitely start. If you were to say, Joe, this is a go, and we want this up and going by Memorial Day of 25, that's not a problem. If funds are available, if your guys' funds are available, I would like to start preparation just to get that much ahead of the curve in spring. So I would, demo the surface, prep the surface, maybe go ahead and set the racing lanes and the expansion joints, but I wouldn't want to plaster the pool until spring of 25. And the way that we collect as far as payment goes is all upon completion of phase. So, we sign a contract today, I don't bill anything or I don't expect anything until a phase is, so once the prep is done, we'll hit you up for X, tile done, another X amount. And then completion, once things are completed, final walkthrough, we'll collect upon the final check. So, but nothing due, there's no deposits.
And part of me at this price range was, cause I'm sitting there thinking we've only got a certain amount of funds to use towards the pool improvements. And, I know we need to replace some of the gutters in that pool as well.
And that's not included
So
with
that's
this.
not, no, and that would be in addition to this overall price, so that would be something to see what, you know, once we get this project, the plastering, which is the main part, get that completed, see what kind of funds we have left over to finish out and
Yep.
get the gutters in.
I think that gutter needs to be.
One thing weird that happened this last year, I did a project in Osceola, Iowa, and they were under like a strict water restriction. And I prepped the pool in the fall and planned on plastering in the spring. Well, spring rolled around, winter rolled around, and they're like, we actually don't have enough water to refill the pool. There's like a drought of some sort that they fill from. And it wasn't until like the last second they're like, we got enough water, can you guys still do this? Went out and plastered it, but it was kind of a weird situation, like, because I had prepped it, I'm like, if we don't do it, you guys don't have a pool this summer, you know? So it was kind of weird. So I guess I just want to make sure that if we were to start it, that the funds would still be allocated and set aside somewhere, that we don't come to the spring and then you've got a pool out of service because I already started prepping on it.
Oh, no, yeah, we had funds allocated once we signed it.
Yeah.
You have something, Tom?
Nope. Okay.
Anything else? All right, Joe, I think we got the information.
Curtis?
This isn't a question for
Okay,
John.
well, if you guys see anything additional, you know, references, you know, different cities, stuff like that, I don't even recall. Jamie, how did you come about finding us?
I think one of our engineers may have mentioned your company, and I've done a lot of research too. I've been searching all over for different pool restoration companies, and yours was one that popped up quite often, so.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you guys need references or anything, let me know. I can put that together. You know, the sequence of events would be, we start with hydroblasting on the pool. If we went with cement or the exposed aggregate, they're both the same type of preparation. The 40,000 PSI pressure washer is going to remove anything that's hollow and not adhere to the substrate beneath it, as well as make the surface incredibly rough for the new plaster to bond to it. Once that's all done, it's cleaned up, of course, and then we start setting the racing lanes and setting the expansion joints and caulking those expansion joints. Caulk has secure for, I think it's 4 days or 7 days before it can be submerged underwater. So that needs to sit a little bit before we start plastering. Plaster gets installed, we start filling pretty much the same day. So if we start at the deep end, I'm filling up the pool and it's filling behind it as we're working basically. It cures underwater. I don't know if you guys had it. If the pool is 20 years old, that may be the original finish on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
A new plaster finish or exposed aggregate finish, the most crucial time is the initial cure, which is 28 days. So making sure the chemicals are spot on, there's some brushing involved. We recommend the pool gets brushed for the first 2 weeks. It's just taking a nylon pool brush across the surface to suspend or put this dust that's created back into the water for your filter to filter out. So you'll do some more backwashing in the beginning and then less as the days and weeks go on. But that's the first 28 days, and the pool can be slamming during that time. You know, if we were up against the gun and we're plastering it the week before Memorial Day, you know, you guys can still open the pool and use it. It's encouraged. It helps kind of oscillate and stir up the water. But just know that there is a 28-day cure period. I can send you the specs on that, but that's what they need to finish. They just, again, recommend that you monitor the chemicals a little more closely than what you typically do.
We had one other question here for you.
Well, and you might be able to answer it, but what's this, is this another 4%? It says all construction agreements will contain an additional line item for mobilization totaling 4% of the contract total. So is it another 4% on top of?
Correct. On top of whatever finish we go with, there's a 4% mobilization fee. That's not billed out until we actually start the project. But yeah, 4% on top of plaster or exposed aggregate. Yes.
12, 11 and a half,
Okay.
11 grand. Oh,
People ask, why don't you just put that in your actual bid? Well, unfortunately, we we have some of these larger pools that have to be separated out, and they have to have mobilization separated, because it would just, alleviate a lot of questions if it was all just built into one price, but there are some public bids that we have to have it in there, that wording for it to be separate, so.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Joe.
Okay, I appreciate it, and
Yep.
if anything else comes up after this, just shoot me an email and we can hash out the details.
Yep, I'll get back with you.
Thanks.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Can they do the gutter work too while they're here, or is it different?
I'm sure they do all that.
Kinda trying to put it in.
But that'd be something I would work with them during the construction
As long as
phase.
they're there.
Right, I agree, it needs to be done because it's cracking and
Yeah.
you're gonna have some kid cut their leg on it or something.
That's not very good in spots.
I think there's enough left over in the budget
To be able to do
To
the
do
gutter,
that, I would
it should be
think so.
done.
Do you have a question, Curtis?
The cost was said in a little abstract manner. Is it 261,900?
930.
930. 2,000.
261,930
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
for the one we're looking at.
261,930.
And there's one that's 311,700 we were talking about, and the best one is 340,460.
Okay.
We were talking about the two lower ones on the phone.
Sure. Thank you.
If nothing else, we can move on to line D.
Well, you need to have a vote up for me to,
Oh, I thought we were just discussing it.
well, you ask them, yeah, yea or nay.
Alright, I guess we need a motion
I'll
to
make-
approve.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid of the 261,930 for the white plaster.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, Jamie, call for a vote.
And we had better improvement.
Well, I think we'll do that as a change order, so we'll bring
Okay.
it, like, if we wanna do that diamond bright, like that, like he's saying on the,
lower.
Lower.
we can always bring it in, as in a change
Change
order.
order.
I kinda feel like if they hold up the same quality, I
Stick with the cheaper.
guess we'll stick with, I mean, if the quality's the same, you might just not get the sparkle, but, I don't know.
We got Kayla.
Okay, it'll be the sparkling
You've got the
eyes.
sparkle right here.
Maybe this is cool.
You're not supposed to kick
Shoal. Going first. Yeah. Bruning,
Yes.
Launik,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Burley.
Yes.
Now we'll move on to line D, we'll need introduction, motion, and a second for the consideration of resolution 2024-33 entitled a resolution approving certain fund transfers in the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget.
I'll make an introduction for resolution number 2024-33.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-330. No, 33.
Bring the computer, oh, you
I'm
can't
so
bring
low, I can't see what I'm looking
Can't bring
at.
your computer down.
I will second
Wait,
that.
let me get close.
Lane,
33. That's what I'm right under.
I second.
Got a second? Now we'll move on to discussion.
Okay. So, this thing I printed out and gave to you. I try to make I try to make things simplified, but sometimes when I do it, it comes out more complicated. The main items over here, I think the main points I wanted to push on this is, you know, for one thing was, I think to make it easier for the city council to see and determine what major projects we wanna do in the upcoming years, we wanted to create a capital projects fund. So we did do that, and what we do, the way we fund that is certain amounts come out of, initially this year, we're taking $100,000 and come out of general fund and go into the capital improvements fund. And we're also gonna pull money out of, the local option sales tax, which would actually come into that as well as the emergency fund is gonna get zeroed out, and that's getting zeroed out because the state has removed the emergency fund, we no longer levy for that. It's all included into the general levy, so we're just gonna put that into the capital fund as well. And a few other smaller funds, some money from the airport and all that goes into this overall fund, so, if you look at on my sheet, on the right-hand side of the new balance, that's kind of where we think the balances will start at the beginning of this fiscal year, which, the general is actually a little bit better than it was last year. We started at 40,000, we'd started around a little over 100,000 in the general fund. And then under the capital projects fund, we'd have 202,413.05. That would be mostly used for general fund type projects. That would be equipment purchases, land purchases, road improvements, anything like that, come out of there. You wouldn't necessarily use it to fund utility projects, or like gas, water, sewer, all that needs to come out of their own. But this would just help address, you could set priorities and say, well, this is how much money we have this year in our fund, and this is the projects we wanna do, so you can kinda get a good idea of, throughout the year, how much money is in our funds to use towards projects. I would consider the rest of that money accounted for, so, your general fund, the rest of that's covering your salaries, your operating expenses, just to maintain the city, day to day and all that, so. Other than that, all the transfers are listed. We do zero out the fire department, that's part of it, it always starts at zero balance each year, so they actually had a surplus at the end of the year of 1,562, so whenever there's a surplus in the fire budget, it gets transferred into the long-term capital budget, or long-term capital fund. And the same goes if they overspend the fire budget, then the long-term fire capital has to go in to zero out the fire fund. So this year they were over a little bit, so the long-term fire will make a little bit of that money. 20% of the local option sales tax always has to go towards debt service, so we always take 20% of the revenues generated from the previous year. Automatically put that into debt service.
No, that money is not paused.
It's fine.
It's not.
I have a lost account.
Still looking.
Yeah, right.
Jamie, do you recall if we had the remaining debt on the fire truck?
I have to look that up and get to
Okay.
you, cause I think how many, have we paid
Twice.
twice, so maybe 3 years left, so probably,
I'm not sure.
75,000 maybe, somewhere in there.
On the ladder truck, or
No,
No,
tank-
the last
tanker,
tanker.
tanker.
I wanna say 2.5 years sticks out my head.
Yeah, I can get that for the next fire board meeting too. for
That'd be
sure.
good to know. I think about adding more debt there.
Nothing else, Jamie, you can call for a vote?
Loudon,
Yes.
Mailer,
Yes.
Marley,
Yes.
Shoal, Bruning,
Yes.
Line E. Introduction and first reading of ordinance number 2024-330, entitled an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Sac City, Iowa by adding a new chapter 161, establishing a vacant building permit.
I will introduce the first reading of ordinance number 2024-330.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 2024-330.
I'll second it.
So our introduction, motion, and second, move on to discussion.
So this was brought up actually it's been on the agenda and been discussed for the past 3 years probably at the Planning and Zoning Commission level. They decided at the last meeting to go ahead and approve it, and pass it to the city council for consideration. Essentially, what this ordinance does is encourages people that are sitting on vacant properties in town to put those properties on the market or and sell them or improve them, to be used. The ultimate goal is to reduce the number of nuisance properties in town. As you all know, a lot of people, there's a lot of houses in town that at one time were in good shape. And when that person passed away or left town or whatever and left it vacant, that property over the years has been left unmaintained and very little done with it, and it's just degraded over time to the point where it's not livable anymore. This requires that a maintenance standard be done, and they have to pay a fee each year to have it inspected. If they wanna maintain a vacant building, you can still maintain your vacant building, but you're gonna have to have it inspected. And that's what this fee will help pay for, is that person to come down there and inspect it, to show that, you know, the roof's not leaking, or the foundation's not going bad, or, you know, things are being taken care of. So essentially, it's really encouraging people to either live in it, keep it up, or sell it. It's something that I've been asked by Main Street Iowa, when we were with them, pushed it a lot. Chamber of Commerce, we talked to them about it a few months ago, and it seemed supportive. Of course, Planning and Zoning's passed a motion in support of it. So it's just right now at the level of the council
This goes
to
for
consider
commercial and, it's everything, right?
commercial and residential.
Retail, everywhere, Main
Yep.
Street.
All zones. There was an addition that was after, Eric, one of the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission emailed me, and he did make a good point. He asked about, there's in the third page, under the 161.07 exceptions, there really needed to be an exception for storage buildings, and we didn't have that in there. So there's a number 3 on your packet, and that does include, if you wanted to pass it with an amendment, that would include storage buildings, but they'd also have to maintain those storage buildings. And the storage buildings would have to be the primary uses for being a storage building.
Like storage units?
Yeah,
Or
so it's-
like a building that they're using as storage effect?
So it says no residential or business use. The building has never been used as a residence or business, and there are no plans to convert it to such use in the future. The building is exclusively used for storage purposes and does not have any residential or commercial occupancy.
So we're seeing some of those buildings downtown that used to be businesses but are now just being used for storage would not get an exemption.
No.
That'd be like pretty much a building built just to store,
Right,
like
right.
a garage or a storage building that.
And and anybody that falls under this and is billed and they're told that they will have to pay a vacant building fee, everyone always has due process rights, so if they wanted to contest that and say, no, my building is a business and I use it for this purpose or whatever, the zoning administrator is the one that initially starts that process. If they can't come to an agreement, they can come to the Planning and Zoning Commission or ultimately the city council. The city council would say, make the final determination and say, hey, now this is what it's for. And, they could always take it to court too if they didn't agree with the city councils.
I just wanna, I'm sorry, Jamie, I wanna be clear, is this chapter 161, is this completely new, or is this a change to what we currently have?
Completely new section. So yeah, chapter 161 would be a new chapter.
Let's see in here, let's see anywhere. Cost?
So the cost will be set by resolution.
Okay.
So after this is
After it
passed into
passes the
law, then,
So you see permit fees, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, I don't see.
what we'll do is, I've already got one created, but it'll be, we'll probably start at a P and Z level to come up with a recommendation for what the fees will be. And, they'll pass a recommendation up to the city council based on a resolution. And that'll be the fees that will be charged. And I believe I got this written in, it wouldn't start till January 1 of next year.
Does that include the houses that are left for Title 19?
I'm sorry,
Does that include the houses that are left for Title 19?
That means
Title 8, what's that?
Active rehabilitation.
Oh, if the nursing home takes the home and they own it, and that remains vacant, then they have to pay that fee.
It'd go after everybody, I would think.
Yeah, it
Anybody,
applies to everybody.
everybody.
to take care of it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cause I look just like vacant, you know, nobody does anything to them, I know.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm reading this right, it goes into effect after you pass it and publish. What it says in section 4.
How can I put in there,
Not in the packet that I got unless you changed it after that.
Yeah, this ordinance shall be.
It's just whatever we
Yeah.
approve.
final passage, yeah.
Under 161.05, it says beginning January 1, 2025.
I see section 4, yeah, when effective.
Yeah, let me do some thinking on that, cause that might be I think I did that on purpose, cause I think the ordinance
Oh,
does
okay.
come into effect.
Well, I think I think you are correct, with your permit required saying it doesn't start till the
Right, 'cause
finals. It just
The
means that
days
your
start
ordinance
counting
is-
after passage, but you don't have to pay permit fee until first of the year.
Forget I said anything.
Don't know about a typo or don't you care?
Yes.
No, you are in the right.
Actually, this was written by the codification company, so they made it.
Uh-oh.
We tried one earlier and it said, I, Sandy Telling you, it.
Ah!
Oops.
I've only been here for 3 years.
Oh, that was the resolution. That's just cause you used an old one.
Yeah. You based it, did you?
What's the
Where's
title?
the title?
161.04, the, vacant building maintenance standards, the second line says shall be adequately protected from intrusion.
So eliminate the.
Yeah.
And I recommend we probably do 3 readings on this, just so you get public input over time.
Yeah, I would agree.
Nothing else, Jimmy, call for a vote?
Loudon,
Yes.
Mailer,
Yes.
Marley.
Yep.
Schultz,
Yes.
Rooney.
Yes.
Move on to line F, any introduction, motion a second. For the introduction, first reading of ordinance number 2024-331, entitled an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Sac City, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to collection of solid waste.
I'll introduce ordinance number 2024-331.
I'll make a motion for ordinance number 2024-331.
I'll second that.
We got an introduction, motion a second, we want a discussion?
This is essentially passing on increased fees. Back in, I believe it was 2019 or 2020, the county solid waste had a fairly substantial increase in their tipping fees and assessments, to help pay the cost of the SRF loan that they had, to mitigate the dump site. We have not addressed that. We have ate those costs basically for the past 5 years. And it probably should be addressed, and we should be passing that on. And that's simply what it is, basically passing on the cost of increase that was brought to us. So it's, basically we're increasing the base rate by $1 and, tags by 10 cents. So they go from 60 to 70 cents. Base rate go from 17.25 to 18.25.
Are the tags like forever stamps?
I think they upped the price off on this last time.
So, I just wondered if they're like forever stamps that
I
the
think-
tags you have will still work? or-
Back in
Yeah,
the day, it had a
yeah.
price, now they don't have a price
I
anymore.
took the price
Oh.
off, so it's a forever stamp.
Nobody's gonna go get something really
Okay.
quick before the
Yeah.
ordinance passes.
You can get everything you guys have, you know, food pride.
They will be running those new ones.
Well, this don't go into effect till what, November first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got time.
I wouldn't buy like 6 years worth, cause we may end up
Yeah, I'm
getting, we may transfer over to container systems eventually, so.
I ain't taking them back.
No refunds.
No.
No refunds.
Push a ban and you get screwed.
Yeah.
Nothing else? Jamie, call for a vote?
Shoal. Yeah.
Bruning,
Yes.
Monk,
Yes.
Mailer,
Yes.
Marley.
Yes.
Same.
Go ahead and move on to committee and department head reports.
H.
Skip that one.
Go ahead and move it to H. H is after G.
Yeah, we'll let that.
I'll come back to it in a second. How many more years until we have to get the lead paint off the house, or the water tower?
I'm thinking, let's see,
It's gotta
three
be
more,
roll- It's gotta be rolling around.
3?
I was gonna say.
Have you started saving for that?
No, you're not getting a popcorn ball.
No, Greg's spent all our money.
We're gonna get a top one.
No, you're not unless you buy it.
It's
I was
probably
gonna
gonna
say,
go through
that's
that.
out of your pocket.
Greg's spending the money, you ain't getting it.
I might.
Thanks.
About the time we get it painted and change, somebody else said it was.
What are we on?
Department.
Oh, don't forget we have to do that resolution.
Yeah, that's H.
Okay, just making sure.
Right here on H.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's not lost.
Just making sure.
Is there anything in these
Never know.
reports, Jamie, that leads you to think we'll have large projects coming up for replacement or repair?
The water department's gonna be spending a lot of money, so it stresses me out a little bit. I'll actually be bringing probably the next meeting or the meeting after, we're applying for a rural development grant for this lead and water project, which will involve some substantial improvements to our own system as well. So we'll be upgrading the water plant that'll allow us increased capacity to sell water to Leaden, as well as update some of the stuff that really needs to be updated. Our water plant is, it's its life expectancy, to be honest, and we need to do some major things there. So that'll be on all of our radars here in the next several years. Each year we'll have a number of projects gonna have to be done with the water. Sewer's in pretty good shape. We did quite a bit of improvements right before I started here, so.
You said it's gonna be 30 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing else, we'll move on to line H, would be only a introduction, motion and second, for the introduction, first reading of resolution number 2024-34, resolution supporting hometown pride application for Sac County endowment grant. Right?
Yep.
I would, it's a needed introduction, right? I'll introduce resolution number 2024
I'll make that.
Motion to approve resolution number 2024-34.
I'll second it.
So we got an introduction, motion and second, we'll go into discussion.
This is just in support of Hometown Pride's, their, application to SAC endowment for, those improvements they've already brought to our attention, as far as, work they're gonna do down at the Riverside, Park, Riverview Park, yeah.
It says Riverside.
So, I meant Riverview, yeah, I get them mixed up, I can't remember which is Riverside's the campground, Riverview's the Lions Park.
So we'll have to change the
This is
resolution,
wrong
correct?
there then.
Yeah, just change it to
Riverview.
Riverview. I'll update that for you.
Riverview has an inverted TP.
Mhm.
Riverside, you camp on the side of the river, you only view the river from the park.
Technically, you can camp down by the park too.
I'm lost.
Any other discussion?
We have this,
You
You
raised
can't see.
13,000?
this is what it
Where?
costs. I mean, this nifty little,
You're close.
thanks to
Where at?
county supervisors, we have 13,000 that we've raised out of 24.
Where'd you come up with the 24.5?
This is what the, instruments cost that we wanna put down there.
So here's 23 and
Well-
7,800. So that's just for stage one,
Right,
just round it up a little bit.
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't wanna put cents and stuff on
It just
but-
says 23 here, so
Yeah.
24.5.
Every time I ask them for an estimate or a quote, it goes up.
Can you lock it in or they don't lock it in?
They will through September 15th. So it will probably go up again.
Thanks. Nothing else, Jamie and call for a vote?
Wheeler,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Scholl, Bruning,
Yes.
Loudon,
Yes.
We want a council forum.
Where are we at with that old funeral home?
Next month.
Yep, they'll be served on abatement notice next month.
September 24th is when it's supposed to shut down.
Now,
What are we gonna do with it?
The guy that wants to do it.
Okay.
But it's, she technically bought it, so we'd have to,
You have to go through the process.
I got a guy that, I think would move ahead, yes.
Somebody needs to, it looks awful.
Yeah.
I have no idea, thanks. Fifth Street and 12th Street houses that burned, and have we seen what Fifth Street is doing over there now?
so, Fifth Street,
Yes, you know.
yes, and, John knows about it too, we're working on it. But the house that got burned on 12th Street, I've actually been in contact with the city attorney on that. They got in fact, so they got served their initial letter in April, their 90 days passed. I sent them another letter that said, now you're in violation after your 90 days. You have till November 15th to tear that house down, or the city will come in and tear it down for them, and it'll be assessed under taxes after November 15th. They don't, the city attorney wants to, he claims, he discussed this with him and Ben Both Smith. The city can pass a resolution ordering that property be torn down and be assessed. So that's the process we're gonna go through, so once November 15th hits, a resolution that he's gonna bring for us, will be brought to the city council. And once that's passed, as soon as the first opportunity is available, by, or just whoever, will have to. Coal, I don't know, there's an ordinance that says you can't bury that. I got Stacy looking into various things.
Thought we had it all lined up once we went in there.
Yeah, we did.
We did, 3 days.
Is that,
Yeah.
is
Then
that-
the fire started.
Is that invalid now, or,
Why can't we still?
I mean, is it somehow voided, or what?
Is it cleaned? I mean, is there,
The back is cleaner. It's actually a lot cleaner.
It's
It's just
very-
they just buried it.
It's buried.
But we checked and,
Plus now there's a big old semi on it sitting there.
But that's another issue then, I mean, that's not in, that wasn't part of the original thing. But we gotta be careful because there's a fine line between the house and the property, because the first thing had nothing to do with the house.
yeah, it was all the junk.
It was all the junk behind the house, so there's a fine line there. That's when it's all buried then.
Is he burying it now?
Stacy said,
He'd
and
be on
maybe,
that open dumping
I have Stacy
law.
come to a council meeting or something, but he said he
Some of
did go
that
down and
stuff.
talk to
We
Cole.
checked with them, there was
They're
none
supposed
of
to be
it,
addressing
yes,
it.
except for a demolition,
Maybe
not
I'll
having
have
demolition
Stacy
on
come to
it.
the city council meeting.
Oh,
Big ol'
yeah,
semi
you're gonna have
trailers,
that.
that'll be next truck.
What's that?
But I think it can
Connex
fall
or
into that
something,
open
not
dumping
Connex,
law.
big ol' rickety trailer.
Stacy was working on, I think, the trailers and the motorhome too, I think.
Yeah, there's another home sitting there too.
But that's all on Ron's property, right? That ain't on Cole's.
I'll just have Stacy come to
Kind
the
of in the
city
middle.
council meeting. I think that'd be the easiest.
Cause that driveway right up against the house
The
is,
trailer's on both,
is it?
yes. It's going north and south.
Yeah, but I thought it was all on Ron's, which that's a whole nother,
No,
that's a whole nother issue too. We have two property owners.
Well, yeah, that's been a whole thing too.
Cause what Ron's property, that house sat back up in there further, and he's got that all tore down a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Cole tore that
Yeah.
down too. Yeah, bury that one.
No, I think it's sold all the way. I think it's sold all the way, has to do down board by board.
Are we done with the housing project thing?
They still need to do their punch list stuff to clean up.
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Can I mention one more thing?
Yes, you can.
Please. If you would like to do something before the Iowa State game on a Saturday, we're having an appreciation potluck. For, first responders. So it will be inside the Chautauqua building, so we don't get rained out like 2 years ago. The reason why there's so much space in front of the park is for a helicopter to land. Yes,
In theory, we're working on it.
since landing inside Chautauqua Park would be a little iffy.
I got some ideas.
I really were trusting Bob with this one.
Irony in those.
I don't know too many other people that knows how to land a helicopter.
I trust you, Todd. You got it, buddy.
We got faith in you, Bob.
So is there a motion? Do we have a second?
We don't say.
I will second it.
If nothing else, can we call for a vote?
Dominic,
Yes.
Baylor,
Yes.
Marley,
Yep.
Shoal,